Juan Francisco Villa, reading or playing Tennessee Williams. Like an audition.
Now, if you were to choose your favorite Tennessee Williams play, what would it be and why?
Streetcar is easily the one that comes to mind. There's another play that sort of is an early incarnation of Streetcar, which is called Mooney's Kid Don't Cry. And I enjoy that one a lot, Mooney's Kid Don't Cry, because it's just a short play and it's very robust and potent. And when I first was introduced to it, it explored a side of masculinity that I hadn't embraced at that time. So this was about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. And Streetcar, it's a fuller story, very sensual, just passionate, and just a lot of people just struggling to retain dignity and strength, and you put all those things together. It's just a beautiful clash. And Blanche is just, I think she's heartbreaking, and I admire her so much, just fighting for what she believes in, and the language that she has, and the way she looks at life. This positive gleam is just fascinating to me.
In researching Tennessee Williams, what have you gone into and where have you gone?
Well, right now there's an exhibit right now at the Morgan Library Museum. I haven't gotten yet. Just been focusing on this right now, rehearsals. But that's going to be one of the things that I do. Philip has been great. Philip Dawkins, the playwright, he's been fantastic about sharing information for William Inge and for Tennessee Williams. And then we have the assistant director, Devin, who's been just finding and mining articles from the Tribune, because William Inge was a reviewer actually before he was a playwright, before he started writing.
Oh, I did not
know
that.
There's a lot of things I did not know, and a bunch of us did not know. So it's been great to discover that. And so right now, interviews, also watching interviews with Tennessee. That's been also great to watch, just to see his energy, and not necessarily look for an impersonation or an imitation, but just trying to. He's got this great gleam in his eye, and where it seems like he buys moments by this very smile. It's a very. He just seems to enjoy certain moments, regardless of what's happening or being said. So interviews with him have been great to find.
What do you find is the differences between you and Tennessee Williams, and the things that you are most alike?
I would say the difference is that he is much more, there's no filter on him. Tennessee has no filter at all, which is something that's very different from myself. Has actually been, as I've gotten older, just to embrace a little bit more. And I admire that. I've always, and since a kid, I grew up in the Lower East Side in LES here in Manhattan, and I was by far a beta. I was definitely a follower. And I think a lot of my friends definitely allowed me in their circle because I was not a threat at all. I was that person who was just constantly laughing. And so Tennessee is definitely a person who's just gonna make any moment, just find the beauty in any moment and find the joy in any moment. And he's not gonna hide it. And sometimes you're not even sure if he's paying you a compliment. There's definitely some shade thrown here and there by Tennessee, which is not me, but I'm sure I have that side in there somewhere.
Do you find that fun and challenging to be able to do that?
Oh, I've had no time to really get reflective on, because I think I would have maybe been like, oh, am I being too mean, or this, that, or the other, and I just throw myself in where it's been fun to do. I guess now the thing is, how can I, when out of rehearsal, dial it back a little bit. But similarities, he didn't grow up with money, and so that thing of, especially being an artist, of just still trying to retain artistic integrity, and still trying to create the work, and that conflict of, I need money, but I don't want to rely on that, especially in order to consider myself an artist. I think wanting to tell stories that are not shown as much. I'm also a playwright, so there's that. And so this play, when I met the play, it was great to just hear the words from Tennessee and from William Inch, because it's a good sign, there's a good balance of the insecurities of a writer and an artist, and then the courage. In Tennessee, in this play, especially in the beginning, has just this immense amount of courage where he almost feels as if he has no choice. There is no other choice. He has to write, even if it comes at a cost. And I know for myself, that's when I'm locked in as a writer, that's the way it feels. Like there's no other way to do it. I think he's, well, in my mind, I'm guessing he was more disciplined than I've been, but that's where there's some similarities. The way he looks at the world is with love. He has some characters that people might look at as being really grimy and earthy, but it comes with a place of love, and my plays are definitely in that same world. And his language, he loves language, and I love language. I love his language. And Philip, I think, has captured Tennessee's language so beautifully. It is difficult for me to not hold on to the vernacular that I find in the play outside of rehearsal.
And where have we seen you before?
Oh,
where would people know you from?
Well, recently I did a show at the Public Theater called Oedipus Elderday by Luis Alfaro. I did that at the end of 2017. I did a play up at Pittsburgh City Theater, so Citizens Market by Corey Thomas. I did an episode of Madam Secretary. I did that a little while ago. Chicago PD, I've been on TV there, guest starred at Betrayal, which was a short show that didn't last very long. And then there's a bunch of voiceovers. I've had commercials that have run internationally because I was being bilingual with Spanish and English. McDonald's, El Paso, just random things like that. But ideally that picks up. Hopefully there'll be more things that you'll be able to see me in.